Hello, world. So today is again Monday. Um, and my post for my life coaching talks about normalizing, starting money conversations. If you normalize money conversations, it's going to help you get over your fears of money because, of course, if you're talking about money on a regular basis, you're making it more of a real thing. You're normalizing it so there's less fear around it. Fear is generally something that we usually have fear around the unknown, things that we don't know about. People worry about how they're going to finance their future instead of thinking about the here and now and how they could be living, and in that living creating more abundance coming into their home or coming to themselves. So, couple of things I just wanted to throw out there with starting money conversations. One thing you can always start with, make it a family thing. Do the whole family as a conversation. Start the young ones when they're young. One thing you can ask is, when did you first get paid for something? Whether it was a cash payment or otherwise payment. Sometimes things are done in trade as well. I know the very first time I got paid for something, I was probably about, I was between 2 and 4 years old. I don't remember exactly how old I was. I don't think I was quite 4. I know I was at least 2. And I grew up in low income housing, and my mother had a vehicle. Not all the moms in that area, in the apartments that I grew up in, had a vehicle. So one of the neighbors came down and asked my mom for a ride because she was in need to get somewhere. And so, again, how things used to be in my past, my mom felt that us kids, because the neighbor upstairs also had a son who was less than a year old and still in a crib, my mom, the one who had control of my life for the first 19 years, the one who had the vehicle, didn't feel that the kids needed to come on this wherever they needed to go. Still to this day, I don't know where they went. I don't know how long they were gone for. None of that stuff, because I was too young, and for me, I guess it didn't matter. So I was actually in charge of babysitting the baby in the crib. And again, I was just a baby myself. I was between 2 and not quite 4 years old at the time. And I remember standing there at the crib because the young one was in the crib. And again, he was less than a year old. And I just held on to the crib handles, those bars that they have on the crib. And I just stared in the crib the whole time that they were gone, because that's all I knew. I was watching the baby. Didn't know for sure what would happen. If something happened, who knows what would have happened, because I wouldn't have been able to get the child out of the crib. All those sorts of things. Well, needless to say, when all was said and done, the mom of that child felt really, really, really bad. I think she was scared for quite a bit with, her own child having been left in the hands of another child, and she felt bad for the child that had been left in the hands of. That was me. And so in payment, she was a Native woman in this area, and in payment, what I got was a beaded necklace, a round beaded necklace. And of course, as I have said before, I was a paycheck for the one that controlled me for the first 19 years of my life. I was born to be a paycheck. And so when I was made payment with that, it was actually taken away from me straight away. Because, of course, I didn't deserve it. I was just the kid. So the one that was deserving of it, the one who had control of my life, took it away from me. And the mom actually, real quick, like within the next 24, 48 hours, had asked me, "Where is that necklace that I gave you? That necklace is yours. That doesn't belong to anybody else." And she told my mom that as well. And so my mom reluctantly gave it back to me. And unfortunately, it was starting to unfrail when it was given back to me. I'm sure I still have it. I have to look in one area. And I know what happened was I ended up putting it into a bag because, of course, my mom didn't think I was old enough or responsible enough to take care of it. And when it came back to me damaged, I made sure that I took the best care of it as possible, because I didn't want any of the beads to actually fall off or go away from it. And it was in the place where it was going to. So my first money experience wasn't the best. I mean, I started having stuff taken away from me. And of course, in the work world, I have always been able to make money for the companies that I have worked for. The last company I worked for, I actually helped them find guaranteed income that they weren't getting beforehand, not quite to the level that they were getting while I was there, or at least when I found it for them. So I was able to bring in new revenue for them. And of course, they obviously made much, much more money than I did. And the higher ups made even more money than most of the rest of us did. So that's something that I know I'm working out right now, is to get past the whole somebody else is going to take it from me. It's not that I don't feel like I don't deserve it. It's just I do feel like somebody's going to take it from me, because there's always been somebody there to take their fair share because they were more deserving of it. While they didn't actually put in the effort and do the work, they were the ones that were above me that deserved it more, however it might have been, whether it was the one that controlled my life for the first 19 years of my life, or at management, corporation, however, on those ends of things. So there's that. One conversation you could start is, when did you first get paid for something, and how did you get paid for it? Maybe talk about that a little bit. And again, when you do talk about it, it's going to bring up stuff. It's going to bring up those feelings. It's going to bring up those emotions. It's going to tell you things that you need to fix in order to make your money story a better story, so that you can actually move forward and be able to magnetize more of what you deserve. Another thing you can also talk about is how you are with money. Are you, and when I say how you are with money, I mean more how you feel about money, in a sense. Basically, how are you using money? Is it using you? Are you using other people because of it? Like I've said so many times, how you are with money is how you are with yourself. How you are with yourself is how you are with everybody else and everything else. So it's just kind of that big old circle. Dissect your how you are with money. How are you utilizing money? Are you utilizing it, or are you using it, letting it use you, using other people for it, those sorts of things? So there's a couple of things right there to kind of talk about. And of course, you're going to come up with a whole bunch of other things as you go into the conversations. I have been finding information about money and the spiritual. So I am actually gathering up a bunch of that stuff. I will put some small little bits out here and there as we go forward. I am also going to be designing a spiritual money class coming up. Hopefully maybe towards the end of the year, the beginning of the year. I've got a lot going on right now, as is in my personal world. So getting to actually get that designed and such isn't going to be a right this moment, but hopefully starting October, I'll be able to start getting something in line. And maybe by the end of October, beginning of November, I'll have it out there for people to be able to start signing up so that we can get started on that. So again, it'd be money and spiritual, why you actually deserve money, how religions and different things view money. So maybe those are reasons why you have some of the ideas about money that you have, and how you can kind of tear down some of your negative thinking and realize that it might not have been meant in the way that it was received and handed down and handed down and handed down and handed down in so many ways. Because sometimes we take our pastor, our elder, our parents, however they might have seen things, how they thought things were, that's how it came down to us. Well, we're taking their preference, it's coming on us. And then when you actually look at the bigger picture and you look at some of the wording and the different things and stuff, you'll actually find out that that's not exactly what that meant. It basically meant, don't do that. But doesn't mean that you can't do these sorts of things. So that's all I have for now. You have a wonderful day.